I have a very unfortunate update to the whole Crytek saga today. Now, if you've somehow missed all the coverage that I've done and other people have done on this, basically, over the last few weeks, we've had several claims from several different people from various studios across the world, basically saying that they're either being paid late or not being paid for months on end. And we've actually seen similar things happen before with Crytek a couple of years ago. So we kind of all knew where this was heading, unfortunately, and it seems we have reached that point as Crytek have finally broken their radio silence to announce that 5 of their studios are going to be closed. Now, this isn't a complete closure of the company. They will still be operating out of Frankfurt and Kiev, but their studios in Istanbul, Budapest, Sofia, Seoul, Shanghai, they will be no longer part of the business, unfortunately. Now, that's pretty brutal, not only for this, the company to lose 5 studios, but that's 5 studios worth of people who are, of course, now looking for work, which is really, really bad. And to us, my heart goes out to them more than anyone else in this situation. I know Crytek didn't exactly make this decision frivolously, but still. I do have a bit of a statement here from the MD Avni Yerli, who said, quote, "Undergoing such transitions is far from easy, and we'd like to sincerely thank each and every staff member, past and present, for their hard work and commitment to Crytek. These changes are part of the essential steps we are taking to ensure Crytek is a healthy and sustainable business moving forward that can continue to attract and nurture our industry's top talent. The reasons for this have been communicated internally along the way. Our focus now lies entirely on the core strengths that have always defined Crytek: world-class developers, state-of-the-art technology, and innovative game development. And we believe that going through this challenging process will make us more agile, viable, and attractive studio primed for future success." Now, they are going to be continuing work on Crytek, as they do say it will, quote, "remain a core pillar of Crytek's overall strategy, with enterprise licensees and indie developers alike continuing to be served by regular engine updates. All other development studios will not remain within Crytek, and management has put plans into action to secure jobs and ensure a smooth transition and stable future." So they are doing their best to make this transition as comfortable and easy as possible for their employees. Of course, they're not going to be able to help everybody, but they're still doing their best to help people. They're obviously fully aware that people's livelihoods are now on the line, especially with certain countries where it might be hard to find development work. It's going to be pretty damn upsetting and hard for many people that now know their studio, where they've probably worked for many years, is now being closed. Now, I just want to focus on some of the wording that the MD used there. The phrase, attractive studio. Now, the phrasing there I feel is interesting. It does make it sound, and again, this is pure conjecture, that they are considering selling the business after stripping down some of the other, quote-unquote, fat. I don't really want to use that word, but I don't really know how else to phrase it, to be honest. The cutting off these other studios, making the company a sort of leaner proposition, focusing on some games, maybe saying, hey, do you want to buy this company? We're now working on X and we only have 2 studios rather than, like 7, which is obviously a much more cheaper prospect for a potential buyer. So it does still seem, at least from that wording, that they're considering selling the company. But again, pure speculation. Now, despite Crytek's attempts and all that to make this transition smooth, there are undoubtedly staff who are upset with how the situation has been handled. Many already left because of the whole late and unpaid wages situation, which is perfectly reasonable, and just how the situation has been handled in general. There's probably been internal conversations that we aren't privy to between bosses and underlings and all that. That's probably upset a few people along the way. But there's obviously been numerous people who stuck around, either because, they were hoping things would get better, or they didn't have anything else on the horizon, so they thought, I've got to stay here and maybe look for another job on the side. Certain countries it might be difficult to even find another developer to work for, that sort of thing. So there are obviously numerous situations where you're probably going to have a lot of very angry people at how this whole thing has been handled, despite Crytek's attempts to transition them now that they've made this decision. Obviously, letting it go on so long with people not being paid late and all this probably wasn't the best, but maybe they were hoping to be able to salvage it. Maybe they're hoping to get a buyer in their current state. Obviously, that wasn't the case, and now decided to strip themselves to a much leaner proposition and maybe then sell themselves off. Regardless, my main thoughts go with everyone who's lost their jobs. That is a horrible situation to be in for anybody, especially in this one. Wish you the best of luck. Hopefully you can find something else without too much trouble. my fingers are very much crossed for you, and this is not particularly good for the future of Crytek, so we're going to have to wait and see if they can survive this, if they perhaps they'll get bought out, or if we'll be having a similar conversation in the future, but this time about a complete closure. Hopefully not, so I don't want that to happen, because, well, Crytek is a really good engine, and despite their missteps with their games recently, Crytek do make good games, so that's not a result I want, but it's a very possible and arguably likely result. Hopefully I've got good news for you next time, guys, but I doubt it. Thank you very much for watching, though. I'll see you next time.